Hi, everyone. So here we are talking about chapter six. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. So we are talking about in chapter six, variable costing for management analysis. So before we get into like the nitty gritty of it all and all of the technical part of it, I'd like to do some kind of introduction into the chapter. So stay with me for a second as we journey through just kind of introducing this topic at hand. So imagine you have three summer internship opportunities. Opportunity number one, you can be a Vivint rep, right? And so if you don't know what they are, they're the people that are signing people up or homeowners up for, or any kind of homeowners or apartment owners. They're signing them up for like security, right? To watch over your home. So in job number one or behind door number one, as a sales rep, you would get paid $15 per hour and you're working in the summer in Southern California and you're going door to door and you're just trying to get people to sign up. And so again, your pay is $15 per hour and plus commission for every employee or every customer that you sign up. Okay. Option number two, you get to work at Boeing. Yeah. And so it's right along. Maybe you're just kind of getting your foot in the door. You're doing an internship. So maybe you're the coffee person or what have you. But if you know where Norco College is, we're in the Inland Empire. So with that, Boeing is near downtown LA in that area, in the airport area. And so needless to say, that would be somewhat of a commute for you, but you would be working at Boeing, one of the top, if not well-known aerospace companies in the world, and you would be paid $25 an hour, okay? All right. Option number three is Palm Springs. Ay. All right, so imagine you are a bartender or what have you, or a hostess or something of that nature in Palm Springs during the summer times where they tend to have a lot of parties, a lot of things going on to kick off the summer activities or festivities. You're paid $5 an hour or something comparable plus tips. But we know that in Palm Springs, usually from maybe Thursday to Sunday, it's party time, so you can make a lot of money, all right? So those are your three internship opportunities. And so just take a second and think about which one would you go with, okay? So everyone would choose their own choice depending on what they're most interested in. But let's add to that, right? Because it's not just, looking at these opportunities and what your preferences, because there's a little more that goes into this decision. So one of the things that goes into this decision is, well, naturally, the first thing you want to consider is how much does each of these jobs pay? They pay, right? And so as listed on the screen, you can see one is $15 an hour, 25 and $5 an hour plus tips. But aside from that, you want to, other than looking or comparing the wage rate, you're also going to consider the other things that you must take into account when taking this job. For instance, the first one, you're going to be in Southern California in the summertime, knocking on doors in 104 to 110 degrees heat. I don't know about you. You can count me out for that job. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not built for that. Okay. So that's something you have to think about, right? And option number two, if you're living in an inland empire, right? We know that's somewhat of a drive, especially with traffic. And if it's close to the airport, that's minimum an hour, hour and a half drive. Not only that, not only do you have to do the commute, but you also have to wear business casual, right? And then you also have to find parking in downtown LA, right? So the question is still, is it worth it? Will you go with that option? And then option number three, you're still kind of, debating on, okay, I have these three options. Which one is the best for me? And option number three, you live in the Inland Empire, right? And Palm Springs is a drive as well, probably 75 miles round trip maybe. And so maybe you don't want to make that commute every single day. So maybe you want to live out there. Now you have to add in the cost of renting a room, or maybe living in your car, or trying to find a place to shower, or gas, or commuting back and forth. So there's all of these things that you must account for. And we're going to assume that all three jobs offer a 40-hour work week, okay? So there's, as I mentioned before, there's things you must consider when taking on each of the jobs. They're not all equal, right? They're not all equal in pay, nor are they all equal in circumstances. So you need to decide which one best works for maybe where you're going, your future, your lifestyle, what you can take over a summer, okay? And so the only other thing I want to consider is it's not wise to only consider the cost of each job, but you must determine which job will provide you with the most income. Well, you want to consider the job that will provide you with the most income, but also the preferences and the things you're looking for. So just as you would evaluate the relative income of the various choices, a business must also evaluate the income earned from its choices. So it's important to understand that products offered that a product that the company offer also has these disadvantages and advantages. So in some markets, a product will do well, and in some markets it won't. And so a company must decide which products to offer in which markets, okay? So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next slide. So with that, a company will often evaluate the profitability of their products for each region. So let's take, for example, Apple. Apple is a really good example because they have so many products that they offer to their consumers, right? So one of the things when you're offering your products to the market in different regions, you must establish what is the product line pricing, as well as what kind of sales support and development effort you will offer. So we know that Apple offers the AirPods. They also offer their Mac computer line. They also offer iPads, from an iPad Pro to Mini. They also have their iPhones and just the latest of all of those, right? So they are, as they're, and I didn't even mention the watches and things of that nature. So as Apple is introducing all of these products to the market, again, they must understand, or they must think about, hey, if I'm offering this in different regions of the world, such as Asia and America and Europe and things of that nature, they need to consider, okay, what kind of sales effort is going to be needed? What kind of research and development? What kind of sales and, again, support is going to be needed to push these products so consumers are more likely to adapt them, right? So that's just the idea behind it. So doing so helps a company manage its revenue and expenses within each of the regions. So sometimes if you offer something in Asia or China or America, you have to decide, hey, maybe America is more or less likely to accept something at this price than maybe another country. So anyway, in this chapter, what we'll be looking at is how businesses measure profitability using absorption costing and variable costing. So I'll explain exactly what those two terminology or those two items are. And then we'll illustrate and compare each of these concepts and how businesses use them for controlling costs, pricing products, and planning production, analyzing market segments, and analyzing contribution margin, okay? So that's what this chapter is all about, is looking at all of those factors. And I'm really excited to show you guys what that all looks like. So stick with me as we go through chapter 6, which looks at variable costing for management analysis.